The images of moments and players that are a part of our collective memory come flooding back. Like a quintet of mashers, aptly dubbed the Blake Street Bombers, putting baseballs and scores out of reach. With names like Walker, Bichette, Castilla, Galarraga, and Burks, they brought fans to their feet and the opponents to their knees. Fast forward a generation, and over the course of the last 4 games, it's been like a blast from the past, with the Rockies pummeling teams into submission while posting the longest home win streak of the season. Today, we tip our caps to the best players in franchise history and a quarter century of Rockies baseball. Special day, special weekend. It's the Rockies' silver anniversary weekend. It was photo day earlier this afternoon, and there literally were thousands and thousands of people out on the field. And then we got to honor some of the all-time Rockies greats. What a treat to see 17 again, and Aaron Cook and Pedro Estacio, and some of the current greats, Cargo and Nolan Arenado. Big fun. Oh, there's a little baseball to come still. The current Rockies team looks to make it 5 straight. Game 2 of this 3-game set between Colorado and Miami. The Rockies back to 500 after their convincing win last night. And an official welcome once again upstairs, along with my partner Jeff Houston. I'm Drew Goodman. That was fun, and you and I, we think a lot alike in a lot of areas, and I know you were feeling some of those goosebumps, weren't you?
I was. When they were showing the video just a little bit ago, you see all the highlights from these guys. I think it takes us back to a few years, to the times when you're watching these guys, and you understand how great of players they were. But then to see them again today, just to see the smiles come back to their face, because they're hugging their teammates that they hadn't seen in a while.
Yeah, it's been a whole lot of fun. Those guys are going to have a great time watching the current Rockies today. And the Rockies will have Tyler Anderson on the mound, looking to make it 5 straight. And here is some of the numbers on Tyler this year in his 16th start.
Well, and you look at Tyler, I look at this body of work at Coors Field for him. In 26 games, 25 starts, he has a 3.77 ERA. Took the loss in the last start against the Mets, but that was going up against Jacob deGrom. The cut fastball and the changeups are the pitches for him lately that really have been excellent. The last 8 ball games, the changeup, a 163 batting average against slugging, just 256 against for Tyler Anderson. And I think a little bit like what John Gray did last night, where he was able to set him up with the fastball and then finish him off with his slider. I think the same's going to be the same for Tyler today. Set him up with the fastball, finish him off with the changeup.
Starlin Castro was in the middle of the lineup yesterday, and today he'll lead off for Don Mattingly. Here's the Southwest batting order for Donnie Baseball. Brian Anderson, he's reached a 19 straight. He'll bat second. JT Realmuto bat third. He's playing first this afternoon. Then Cameron Maven, veteran player. Derek Dietrich, Louis Brinson, Yadiel Rivera, Brian Holiday, and Trevor Richards. They actually had to make a late change to their lineup. Dietrich was not in the lineup because he bats left-handed. And in the original lineup, it was Miguel Rojas, and he was going to play shortstop. But Miguel had gotten hit on the hand a couple days ago in Baltimore, a few days ago. And that may have flared up a little bit on him, so Donnie had to make all kinds of changes defensively. Just one difference in that Dietrich came in, but where they played in the field was moved around quite a bit. Desmond catches that pop-up, and Starlin Castro is retired.
You have to be ready for anything in this game.
That's Buddy Black's first rule. Be ready for anything. Here's the Rockies defensively. Parr at left, Blackman in center, and Cargo celebrated today, as he should, as one of the all-time great Rockies. He's in right, decade in purple pinstripes. Arenado, Story, LeMahieu, Desmond, 2 more guys on that club. Chris Iannetta, current Rocky on that club. Tony Walters doing the catching, and the next pitch is in there. Strike 1 on Brian Anderson. Brian was 1 for 5 last night, but again, the rookies reached in 19 straight games. And this ball toward the shift. DJ, can he throw him out? Not going to to be able to.
They just couldn't get up in time. When he went to stick to plant his foot, he kind of lost his balance and fell over. We've seen DJ make this play, but watch how he hits and then just falls over. Can't quite get enough on that throw to throw out Brian Anderson, who has now reached in 20 straight. There's a slide and the stop on the Subaru Supermo. And of course, Brian Anderson has a little bit of speed, so base hit for Brian.
And that'll bring up Real Muto, who was a bright spot for the Marlins yesterday. They fell 11-3. They had 10 hits. He had 3 of them. He very well could have had a 4th. They gave DJ an error on a line shot that was knuckling at him, and you know they still have. They're within that 24-hour period where that could be changed around by Major League Baseball. We'll see if it is.
Or the Marlins could petition it to be changed, where they send it into the league. They take a video review of it.
Right, and I would assume they would. Two
like
strikes on Real Muto.
That ball was knuckling on him.
And the other thing is DJ catches everything.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But everything for Real Muto was right up the middle. He didn't try to pull anything last night.
And he got him down and in. Good pitch by Anderson as he strikes out Real Muto for the second out in the first.
Well, that is a cutter, but it acts like a slider. And this is just nasty, tough one to hit on the Subaru Supermo. We saw John last night throw a slider, wearing out guys with it, and this has the same sort of action to it.
So here's the veteran, Cameron Maben. Signed in the winter. With Miami, he's been well traveled now. Good clubhouse guy. He's going to bring speed, good defense, occasional power.
And help with some of the young players on this team. He's been around some veterans when he was coming up, so he knows how to kind of transition to a different role.
Yeah, and that's important with that Miami clubhouse, as young as it is. First strike, 1-1.
I like what he's doing on the Subaru strike zone, just dotting the bottom of the strike zone.
Good place to live.
Yeah, well, look at the first 2 on that Subaru strike zone. Right at the knees and maybe even just a hair below it.
That's outside. Two balls and a strike on Maben, 2 outs. Anderson at first base, now reached in 20 straight games. And he'll get a look from Tyler Anderson. Tyler has a deceptive move. Most lefties do.
Yeah, and to first especially. He'll come up and Brian, oh, is he coming over? Yeah, the Marlins don't run much. There's just 17 stolen bases on the year and 28 attempts. That's a 60.7% success ratio.
And just a total of 17. That
right.
is.
And then compared to the Rockies, who have 41.
Yep. Rockies focused in the offseason on being more aggressive on the base pass. That guy in your picture, Ian Desmond, has done a great job, whether it's stealing bases or going first to third or moving along on a bobble. He's a terrific base runner. 2-2 on Maben. With the review the last couple of years, you'll get the quick glance at the dugout as if to say, hey, let's take a look at that. Brian Jones scrambling with all his video and monitors in front. But he said, nope, we're going to play on. Does he get the jersey? Nope, he got that.
Good call, Jonesy.
Put yourself in the batter's box against Tyler Anderson. He does that toe kick a couple of times, and you want to go back when he goes back, but wait a second, he's not completely back.
You know what it reminds me of? A pitcher from Japan, Far East, the
Sure.
way they do it.
Where they pause.
Where they pause. And that's the same thing that you get from Tyler Anderson with the double kind of leg kick.
He goes slide step, sharply hit. Trevor's there, and he finds DJ. Another terrific play by the Rockies shortstop. He's got gold in his future. See that Rockies potent offense next. Mayhew, a member of the silver anniversary all-time Rockies top 25. He's still building his Rockies resume. Here's the Southwest batting order after DJ. Charlie, he's a member. Nolan, he's a member. Cargo's a member. How about that? The first four guys. Trevor Story, Gerardo Parra, Ian Desmond, Tony Walters, Tyler Anderson. A Rockies team that has scored at least 10 runs in 4 of their last 6 ball games. And on the hill is a young man who's got a great story, Trevor Richards. He was undrafted out of Division II Drury University in George Frazier's hometown of Springfield, Missouri. And he said, that's all right, man. I'm not going to be denied. He went and played independent ball a couple of years in the Frontier League. He was playing right across the Mississippi in Sauget, Illinois. And he was discovered there. And I love some of the baseball stories. This kid's been up and down this year. He's had some really good moments. He's had some rough moments, as any young pitcher will. He's got a really good changeup. And
that's, they call it the old Bugs Bunny changeup. That if you try to attack it too much, it can get you in trouble. But I think what's neat about Trevor is that after all what you said, last year he was the Marlins organization pitcher of the year.
Something to be said for the mantra, I'm not going to be denied.
Nope.
And that's what this young man has, obviously.
Yeah, he's a fastball changeup. We did see a curveball on our graphic of what he also throws, but it's not real good. And so he's living on 2 pitches.
And he struggled in his last outing in Baltimore. He lasted just 3 1/3 against the Orioles, gave up 6 runs on 9 hits. That is a hitter-friendly park, Camden Yards. That just misses down. 3-2 now on DJ. DJ hitting over 400 in the first inning this year. Yesterday 0 for 3. He did have a sac fly and a walk. 3-2. Lofted toward Maben in right, 1 out.
For the Win is brought to you by Pizza Ranch, and what better way to continue the celebration when Charlie's coming to play, because he was part of the 25th anniversary team. But the Rockies have been celebrating a lot, not only at home plate, but in the dugout, because the last 4 games, 4-0 with a 9.3 runs scored a game, and alone on this homestand, even after that game that DeGrom threw against the Rockies, they're still averaging 7.8 over this whole homestand.
Yeah, you have to factor that in here. They did face DeGrom in that stretch, and DeGrom just doesn't give up anything. Good swing by Charlie. Blackman contributed a single and a double last night. He was robbed of a third hit by Lewis Brinson in center field. You know, it was really fun to watch last night. Anytime the Rockies put up a 6 spot in an inning, a blast naturally. But that 4th inning featured a little of so many elements of really good offensive baseball.
Yeah, and some of it was base running. I mean, that's offense too. The base running for Ian Desmond. And Cargo going into second base in the wild throw. He ends up scoring. The bunt by John Gray. The safety squeeze. You got the sac fly from DJ LeMahieu. Of course, Nolan's home run went too shabby either.
That's boring. See that every day. Big deal, right?
Yeah. Well, when you've seen it in 4 straight games.
Yeah. 2-2. Rocky's getting a feel for how this kid works. I always say that when you see a guy for the first time, and these are big leaguers, so you have a lot of reports, you have video and stuff, but nothing replicates actually standing 60 feet 6 inches away and seeing the ball movement, seeing how it comes out of their hand.
And I think more importantly, how it comes out of the hand for the changeup. I think the fastball is not as, you're not as concerned because it's only 91, 92 miles an hour. But the changeup, does it, is it a circle change? Does he turn it over? Does it fade away from me if I'm a left-handed hitter? Where does it go on a righty?
Back-to-back full counts. And Richards gets a strikeout of Blackman. 2 outs. Well, here's what Nolan's done the last 4 games.
Well, started against the Mets. Another one against the Mets. Yeah, you get the picture here, folks. 3 against the Mets. And then last night's home run, 420 feet off a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. That's 4 straight games. You go back to 2015 when he had that streak of 6 straight games that he homered in.
And he takes a curveball for a strike.
What's interesting, too, during this 4-game streak for Nolan is there's 15 teams in all of baseball as a team that haven't hit 4 home runs.
4 straight.
4 straight, yeah. They've done 3 straight, but I mean, just talking about the home runs.
Yeah.
As a team, they couldn't even do it.
No, you don't get tired of saying how special he is, but he does something usually once a month that you say, wow.
Well, what was neat too is, with Ginny and Spilly and Corey on the pregame show for an hour down on the field, interviewing all these different guys, Larry Walker, Jeff Francis. When they had Vinny on there, and Vinny was talking about Nolan and how great he is, one of the greatest third basemen of all time. And this is coming from Vinny, who's a stud himself.
And Vinny, so much of what Vinny did, people remember the home runs and all that. Vinny was a tremendous defensive third baseman.
Yes, he was.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
And Vinny said he's the best I've ever seen.
Yeah. And Vinny's been in the game a long time, and now he's seen it from a different perspective. He's watched. He's on the bench every night.
2-2. And Richards strikes out. Blackman and Arenado back-to-back. So we'll go to the 2nd inning. No score between the Rockies and Marlins. AT Sportsnet is brought to you by the 2018 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Photo day today. Talking to Larry Walker in the dugout. Larry will be joining us in the 5th inning. Todd Helton will be up here in the 3rd inning. We had many of those guys. They're enjoying the suite. Taylor's in there. We get interviews from a lot of folks, and some of them already on the pregame show with Jenny and the gang. But Walk literally only made it like a quarter of the way around. And he wanted to touch everybody and take pictures with everybody, but there were so many people.
They said they had about a little over 5,000 people, about 5,500 people on the warning track today, when they normally think about 1,500 to 2,000.
Huey, we've been here a long time, and we've seen every photo day, and it's always well attended. Everything the Rockies do, the folks, it's a credit to the fans. There's Walk. They pour out.
They do.
I mean, 44,000 just the other day on a Thursday afternoon, a business person special, right?
Yeah. In
the old vernacular. There'll be well over 40,000 here today. I have never, on all the photo days, seen that many fans on the field.
Not at all. And it was fun, too, because they were all looking at him, taking the pictures. You know, they gave away the special jersey today. But I mean, they were just lined up about 10 or 12, 15 deep.
Yeah, you feel bad for the folks that were toward the backside of. That is handled by Tony Walters. So a strikeout for Tyler, his second as he gets Dietrich.
And upstairs on the Subaru strike zone with the cutter, Jeff Francis, Corey. Jeff Bridich, Aaron Cook in one of the suites.
Lewis Brinson takes a strike. You know, one of the guys honored today, and he couldn't be here naturally because he's the bench coach of the Atlanta Braves, former manager of the Rockies, former shortstop of the Rockies, Walt Weiss. And Walt with strong ties to both of these organizations that were born in 1993. Walt started the first game in Marlins history, and he also was on the field first game in '95 at Coors Field.
A special day. The Marlins just had their celebration a couple weeks ago, and the Rockies honoring all their guys today. And again, just to see the names on that list, and I did an interview with Larry that'll be on the club later on. I think it's this coming Sunday. He was just talking about the fans and what he remembers about the fans.
I think it's special when you come back and you've been out of the game for a few years. You really, I think, truly realize, we'll talk to the guys about this later, how special a group they had, how special it was to play baseball in Denver, and particularly at Coors Field, and the relationship with the fans. It's unique. You played a long time,
yeah, it is.
Huey. It's different. You played in a number of places, and I give this organization a lot of credit in that you go back to when Jerry McMorris was here, and then Dick Manfred. There's Torrey Alba. One of the things was late Kelly McGregor. One of the things that was of paramount importance to them was character of the people that populated the clubhouse. Yeah, you want good players. You got to have talented players.
Yeah.
But if you think back through the Rockies' history, you know, you're never going to hit a 1,000. But there have been some terrific and continue to be terrific high character people that wear the uniform.
Well, and it's like a family then.
Yeah.
It becomes a family, and you saw that with these guys today, the way they would go around, and it wasn't just, you know, hugging each other or shaking hands with each other, the guys they haven't seen, but also front office people. Saw a number of guys give Dick a hug, you know, Jill Campbell. The list goes on and on and on of all the people that are instrumental in this organization, work behind the scenes sometimes.
Well,
and to see these guys.
Absolutely, you make a great point, and a lot of people don't realize this, but you know, upstairs, the people behind the scenes, there are a lot of the same faces from back in '93. To lead things off, fans join in on the conversation today. That's an open invitation. Send us questions, comments, photos. Use Twitter. Include the hashtag Toyota Talk. Danny Starks posting this.
Best day ever.
Yeah, that's a keeper. Marlins will shift 3 to the right side, and Cargo takes ball 1. Home plate umpire is Carlos Torres today. Jeff Nelson's at first, crew chief. Tom Woodring at second, and Scott Barry at third. And Cargo went around 1-1. You see swings like that every once in a while when you're unfamiliar with a pitcher.
Well, like I said, you're just not sure how the ball's going to move. Even though you know it's a changeup, you see the arm action, but your brain doesn't register that it's a changeup. Then he throws back to back, and these are the type of pitchers that, you know, aren't scared to throw it 3 times in a row.
Two and 2 on Cargo, hitting .317 in June, overall .276.
That 4-hit game at Cincinnati. Since then, he's .363 and 10 extra base hits.
He was on 3 times last night, single and a double and a walk. Not this time though. That changeup has been outstanding just in the early going, and that's his pitch. Have the Rockies figure him out, especially when he gets to the second time through. Trevor Story coming up. Here's a look defensively at the Marlins. JT Realmuto, tremendous athlete, normally behind the plate. He does play first base, kind of like San Francisco uses Buster Posey. You just can't take his bat out of the lineup, so when Donnie wants to get him a break, he'll throw a first baseman's mitt on him. I mean, heck, anybody can play first base.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
just like put a body over there.
Yeah, absolutely. that was pointed in nature.
That was at you.
Todd will join us in a little bit. Right now, he's taking notes, and he's going to give us his grades on how we broadcast this inning for afterward. Ball and a strike on Trev. He threw out a double in his final at bat yesterday. Rockies gotten some traction this week. 4 straight victories.
4 at home.
So important because we all know that the Rockies started 11-20 at home. And this is looped to shallow right. Maben will get there. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Gerardo.
Gerardo had the big pinch hit last night.
Well, he's had 2 of those big blows with the bases loaded. 2 3-run doubles in the last week. Fans, when the Rockies score 7 or more, and they've been doing it on a nightly basis, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies taco special. Live Mas at Taco Bell.
Yeah, that double in left center field down in Texas to drive in 3, and then I wasn't sure that one last night was going to stay fair.
I think Gerardo stuck around the plate thinking it's either a home run or a foul ball.
He's kind of watching it. Didn't really matter. Everybody's going to come around to score on that one, and he ended up with the double.
Good quick swing from Gerardo. Down 2 strikes. Parra's hit .342 since April the 27th. That's basically 2 months.
Well, look at the RBI
in the mid 300s.
Yeah, the RBI total going up too during that time.
Yeah, Parra's been clutch. He's just been playing good. Who's that changeup?
Just a little bit outside of the Subaru strike zone, and it looks like it has some fade to it. The changeup. Well, those numbers are quite impressive. 329 and 377 the last 2 months, along with 29 RBIs.
And that changeup strikes out Parra. 4 strikeouts by Richards. He's retired the first 6 this afternoon. Matching Tyler Anderson. Pretty easy to put together a highlight package for this guy. There were so many of them. The all-time Colorado Rocky, number 17, Todd Helton. And that's one of my favorites off the Saito. We go to the top of the 3rd inning. It's always good to have Todd back in town. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
You look good.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Stadium looks great. New scoreboard looks great.
How about that?
It's nice.
It's large.
Very nice.
Did you ever, you know what, this ball's lined toward Parra. He's got it. Did you ever go up when you first got to the big leagues and look and you see your face on the scoreboard and you go, that's weird?
Yeah. It's weird, and it's weird to see your average coming up every time too. You're really not used to that.
No, it's weird for guys like me that hit 230, not guys that hit 330.
Well, sometimes you could look up there and be proud of yourself, but there's other times it was a bit sketchy. Yeah, you knew you had to do some work.
This is Trevor Richards, a pitcher with 1 out.
It's a big weekend this weekend, but what's it like when you come back to this stadium and you see your number retired out in right field, right center?
You know, it's probably the ultimate honor, to have your number retired by a big league team. You know, it's, I live in Tennessee now, so I'm so far removed from it. When I come back and I see it, it is a little emotional to see it up there on the rafters, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, Todd, we were talking about this a moment ago, that everybody likes to feel like, we have the best fans, whatever sport it is. And you went to a great institution, University of Tennessee. The Vols had the best fans in the country. And, the Patriots had the best fans in football. And the Rockies believe. Yet, when you look around every day and there's 35, 40, 45,000 people, and even in some of the lean years, you realize that there's legitimacy to that statement.
There's no doubt about it. I can't believe there's this many people here today. Yeah, but the fans are what got you up when you're tired and coming off a road trip. You're not going to go out there in front of 30,000 people and not give it your best. So fans are a very important part of a 162 game season.
A walk to Richards, ball 1 on Starlin Castro. 1 on, 1 out. No score in the top of the 3rd. When you get together again and you see the Walkers and even some of the guys, I saw the big bear hug you put on Cargo yesterday, and Nolan and some of the guys that you knew from the latter part of your career. What are your emotions?
I'm just happy to see those guys. Some of those guys I hadn't seen 3, 4, 5 years. Pedro Estacio, I hadn't seen him forever. You just forget what a great person he was, and the energy that he brought to the field every day. It's something like a Nefi Perez type thing. Jesus,
he's not supposed to get to that,
is he? No. Wow.
And then he finishes in right field. How many third basemen finish in right field?
0. He's unbelievable.
You say that quite a bit up here.
I bet. He's a reason to come to the ballpark. There's no doubt about it.
Well, when he has the range like he did, some third basemen, they're really good. The ball hit to him, or maybe a step to their left or right, but his range is a separator.
It is, and if he gets a glove on it, it's a strike to first base.
It's neat because we've had this conversation at different times over the years. Some of your all-time favorite teammates. I know Juan Pierre's one of your all-time favorites. We got to see JP when the Rockies were down in Miami, because he's doing some stuff with the Marlins. And I want to bring up a guy that I'm glad the fans honored him today, because I always felt like he was unsung. And that's Yorvi Torrealba, and what a special guy he was inside. The fans, even us as broadcasters, we don't see everything that he brought to the table at 3 in the afternoon, right?
Yeah, exactly right. You can put him on a list of greatest teammates that I've played with. What a job he did behind the plate, calling the game. The energy that he brought was contagious. There's no doubt about it.
Got some big hits too.
He got some really big hits. This guy right here can catch, though. He's fun to watch back there.
He is really fun to watch. Middle infield hands.
Looks like a shortstop back there.
He does a better job. You and I and Spilly, we talk about this a lot. Working ground up. He can stick a sinker in for an umpire where some guys will take it out of the zone. Todd.
It's like they don't have a rotator cuff. Some catchers. I hated pitching those catchers. But
take it out of the zone.
Take it out of the zone.
Yeah.
But he does a great job back there. Not that the other ones don't.
He's got special hands.
Yeah.
Tyler Anderson. Fastball, cutter, changeups, his repertoire. 1-2. Good block by Tony.
There you go.
I seen that highlight of you just a moment ago. Was there any special moment? Was the Saito moment, or was it when you caught the final out, knowing you're going to the World Series?
He's probably catching the final out. At the time when I hit the home run, I didn't, it was the end of a doubleheader We knew we swept the Dodgers, but we knew we had to win that game. But I didn't know it was going to be as big as it was.
Sure, you didn't know what was going to transpire the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But it's interesting though, because you were one that did not show a lot of emotion on the field, and the 2 times we saw it and the fans saw it more than any other, this one, and you know, I still get goosebumps thinking about it.
And now 15 seasons in.
Yeah, you forget what a great job Manny Corpus did for us.
Unbelievable job.
Yeah.
Unbelievable job. Stick around for half.
Sure.
Todd Helton's with us. No score. Rockies trying to figure out the youngster Trevor Richards. One of the great memories in 25 years of Rockies baseball. Takashi Saito taken deep by Todd Helton to end a long afternoon and evening as the Rockies sweep the Dodgers. Who knew what was to come? We go to the bottom of the third as the Rockies are taking on the Marlins, and Ian Desmond, who's been swinging the bat tremendously well, takes ball 1. Desmond Walters and Tyler Anderson against Trevor Richards. Todd, going back to that Saito thing, well, I always point this out that, you know, it's deep in the season. You guys played the Dodgers seemingly every other ball game, right?
Yep.
And Saito was always out there in the 9th inning. Until Matt Holliday had the base hit before you came up, you guys did not have a hit against Saito all year.
That's right. I mean, he was a dominant closer at the time. You know, I should have taken deep the pitch before. He threw me a fastball before that I should have hit out. And it was a fastball, and I knew after I took that, I took a really good cut at it, fouled it straight back. I knew he was going to come with something off speed. So
did you sit on that, or or did you adjust?
I've never sat on a breaking ball.
No.
No, I always just set fastball away and adjusted.
Desmond draws a walk, first base runner for the Rockies. I got to ask something, because last night, were you in town yet last night?
Yeah.
Were you at the ball? Did you see the ball game at all?
I saw some of it.
Charlie Blackmon had an at bat, and Spilly was up here last night. We're talking about, so you know this is Helton-esque. He kept dirty stuff away. Bat's perpendicular to the ground. Literally looked like you. He's flicking them into the seats, and then he hit a lob wedge over into left center field to drive in a run.
Yeah, I had a good lob wedge.
Yeah, that's, you know, you got to mix that in, especially when there's a lot of green grass out there.
But not everybody could do that. Not everybody could foul off a nasty pitch to get at least another one you hope was a little better.
Yeah, it's the trick of it was to make sure you hit it foul.
Honestly,
that's a good
people
trick.
I'm sure have asked you through the years, as hard as it is to hit at any level, but particularly this level, the best league in the world.
Yep.
Could you literally at times take a pitch and say, I am trying to foul it off?
Absolutely.
You could?
Yeah.
Now, how many are in that class?
I don't know.
like a handful. I'm pointing at one of them,
Yeah.
but there's
Could you
not.
do that,
no,
Jeff?
No. And I bet you if you ask about half the guys down there, they would say no too, if not more.
Here's another one of my favorite Helton stories. I think Clint told this story. Todd will remember this. Some coach was new. Was new to the organization, and it's an April game, or maybe it's even spring training, and both of your feet come off the ground on a swing, or excuse me, no, your bat's like perpendicular, and whoever it was turned to Clint and says, "Wow, that's different looking." And Clint goes, "Oh, that's nothing yet. Wait till he takes a swing and both of his feet are off the ground." Do you remember that story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old jump swing. Not something you want to do every time up there, but I remember doing it in San Fran one time. I was, early in my career, I was just so excited to be playing, and it was just a right-hander, kind of like this guy, and they just got you excited to play. Go out there and hit.
This guy
Doing well.
This guy's doing well right now with that changeup. How often was there a discussion when something like this is going on in the dugout? We're going to get to it. I see it now. Understand where his release point is. I have a feel for how he's trying to work with that changeup. Where you just knew it's a matter of time. Those conversations that would take place.
Yeah, sometimes. It was more of a feeling, though, that you knew that you're going to get to a guy, and it starts with getting a guy on first and laying a good bunt down.
So Anderson moves Desmond to second, 2 outs, and DJ LeMahieu will have a second look at Trevor Richards.
This sacrifice for Tyler.
I got one for you. You and I happen to be walking in at the same time. AT Park in San Francisco had been open a couple of years, and I think it was probably pretty late in the year, so the Rockies had already played out there a couple of times. And again, I just happened to be walking in to the yard with you at the same time, and back for whatever reason we were walking in from the outfield.
Yep.
And I was talking about how they didn't do Barry Bonds any favors here, even though they thought they did with the short porch and right, but it goes out dramatically and the wind's always blowing, etc. And you told me, I've been here 2 years now, I haven't hit a ball out in BP yet.
I was probably a little
bit of an exaggeration.
A little bit exaggeration, but
that was a tough part. Listen, I listened to everything you said, man. I just
thought it was true.
Yeah. No, I could hit it out there in BP. I hope I could. And I hit some home runs there, but it is a tough park to hit in. The thing that really bothered me the most up there hitting, shadows, of course, and wind being in my face.
Make your eyes water.
Yeah, it's just the feeling that you get that that the wind's against you, and
right.
It's just didn't like in Chicago when the wind blew in. You played there, it was always a tough place to hit for me.
That place was like West Palm Beach compared to Candlestick, though. For sure.
I loved Candlestick.
You did?
I did.
Did you?
Really?
Why?
Yeah.
You're on a short list.
I was 23.
It's the big leagues, right?
Yeah.
How often, we were talking about memories, and we always roll out the site, we roll out you making the catch at first base, and the team goes on to the World Series. Every once in a while, we really flash back to when you were a left fielder and you hit a bomb in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Do you think about that?
Yeah, if you could bottle up that feeling, that was the best. To hit your first home run, your first game.
Well, Todd, listen, you were a high draft pick. You were a celebrated college player as you could be. You were a great high school player. Did you ever have any doubt when you got here that you would excel?
Oh yeah, you always doubted yourself. I mean, through my first season, probably almost halfway through, I thought I was going to get sent down. I was hitting like 260, 9 home runs, but I wasn't driving the ball, and I had an uneasy feeling that I was going to get sent down. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with that feeling. It just makes you work harder every day.
269 home runs. Would that frighten you?
Sign me up, because when we were together in AAA in Colorado Springs, and then up in I had you sign a bat, and you said something about me swinging with a wet newspaper.
Yeah.
And what did I say? I just looked to flare the ball to left field,
Yes,
right?
yeah. Swing the old wet newspaper. You're the only person I've ever used that on either.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel honored.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't you feel special now?
But I tell you what, also I remember in AAA, you taking time and helping me out at first base. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't.
But I do. We went over there and we worked on a couple drills, and I was always very appreciative of that.
Oh, makes me
you
feel
don't
good. I
remember
don't
that?
remember that. No,
Yeah.
no, but
You
thank
did.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a fun team.
We did have a fun team that year. First half, we were really good.
Do you hit anymore? Have you picked up
No.
a bat since the day you retired?
I haven't touched a bat here. I haven't touched a bat in, what is it, 4 years now? 5 years, whatever it is.
Will you again pick up a bat? You think? Such a huge part of your life for so long.
Yeah, I might. Because I had a good opportunity today with taking you guys taking BP today.
You could hit off Spilly.
I know. I didn't realize Spilly was throwing, or I probably would have hit.
Tried to hit one right back up the middle.
Yeah, that's right.
Could have asked him to take the L screen down for a moment.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike. Charlie trying to break the ice here. And that slice foul.
Hey, you just flinched on that too. You just kind of flinched like you saw that pitch.
That was a good one.
It doesn't go away, does it?
No, no. You could see that one from here. The hanging breaking ball, I guess. But his changeup is the pitch that he's been throwing.
Yeah.
Yep, it's pretty much on the gas, off the gas. This kid was an indie ball guy. He
No
was
kidding.
undrafted.
Good for him.
Yeah, it's a great story.
Only pitcher from Drury University to ever have a major league win.
Here's a fun fact for you.
There you go.
That's when you hold your breath on, huh?
Yeah.
Just outside, 2-2. You missed a competition?
I
You
do
get
miss
enough?
the-
Do
I
you
do
get
miss-
enough in golf?
No, I don't. I miss the competition a lot. You know, my first couple years I didn't, but as times has gone on, I do miss the game. I miss the competition. I miss the guys. Don't miss the travel.
Right. You told me something once. I'm going to share with people,
Okay.
and because you shared it, you know,
Sure.
on television at the time. It wasn't a private conversation. You said that at the end of each season, though, as much as you love to play, love to compete, this is going to get the kid out of it. You missed, or you enjoyed the end of the season because you kind of got your sanity back instead of having to go, you know,
Yeah,
the
routine.
rituals and the routines and stuff that you went through.
Yeah, it was good.
It cleared the mind.
Yeah, it took about a month to you know, to get over it and get your body back, but there's nothing better than a 162 game grind.
Right.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Hey, you look good, brother. Go
Great.
enjoy your teammates.
We
man.
will.
I appreciate it.
Good to see you, man.
Great to see you.
Todd Helton.
Field, and we're joined by the Rockies' first ever general manager, Bob Gebhardt. He was a part of building that 1993 team, the very first team in the organization's history. What was the mindset when you were building that initial team?
Taylor, you know, we had so many things going through our minds with the expansion draft, with the rules for expansion being what they were. We just felt that we wanted to put the best. It turned out to be an offensive team, and we found out very quickly that pitching was hard to come by as clubs protected their best pitchers.
Yeah, the Blake Street Bombers, I would say that was a good offensive team. When you originally got those guys, did you have any idea that they were going to put up the offensive numbers they did?
I had a pretty good idea. I had some history with Yella Raja from Montreal and Larry Walker from Montreal, and Dante Bichette I'd watched play a lot, and I knew we were going to do all right with the bat, and the secret was to try to put pitching together, but we're going to score some runs.
So you were a part of the first ever playoff run in the history of this organization, 1995. What do you remember the most about that season?
The last out. No, it was everybody predicted when we were an expansion club that'd be 8 or 10, 12 years before we'd ever be in postseason play, and the things just came together. The strike ended, and we came back playing, and Don Baylor did a great job of managing the players, and our pitching staff, our bullpen, were absolutely exhausted when we won that last day here, and it really wasn't fair to go into Atlanta with a half a bullpen, but the guys played well, and the fans appreciated it.
So part of this Rockies family, it's cool to see everybody around here. I'm sure you feel the same way, kind of reliving some memories.
Yeah, this is a fun day, and you know, the thing about coming back to these reunions, Taylor, is that you'd think they were just together yesterday. They're giving each other a lot of crap and having a lot of fun, and it's pretty neat.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us. We'll let you get back to the socialization. Drew?
All right, Taylor, it's always great to see Geb. We're fortunate. We get to see Geb quite a bit. Not only does Bob still live in the Denver area, but Bob now works for the Cardinal organization after many, many years working with Arizona after he left Colorado. A baseball lifer, a good man.
Yeah, he is. Man of his word.
Absolutely. And he did truly, as Taylor was discussing with him, and Bob's a very humble man. He did an unbelievable job in the expansion draft and piecing together a club that just 3 years in, and back then that was unprecedented, where a team just 3 years in is going to go to the postseason.
Yeah, and then you look at some of the guys too, some of the names. It wasn't just guys that just maybe a cup of coffee here or there. It was guys that ended up having fantastic major league careers.
Swung on and missed. Boy, it's Tyler Anderson throwing the ball well. That's 7 strikeouts for Tyler. Kind of doing what John Gray did yesterday when Gray had a dozen strikeouts. He had 8 through the first 4 innings.
Man, this cutter on the Subaru Supermo is just keeping the right-handed batters baffled.
Now, Derek Dietrich struck out his first time. This ball is hit pretty well to right center field, and Dietrich has hit it out. He did this last night. He was not supposed to play today. Again, an injury to Miguel Rojas, and he got a tap on his shoulder late this morning. Said, hey, we got to put you in the lineup, and he responds with a home run left on left in the 4th inning.
That was a cutter, 88 miles an hour. That gives Dietrich 10 home runs on the season. Subaru Supermo wanted it away. It ends up staying more middle. This guy's really made himself into a pretty good player. Yeah, I mean, when he first started, it was going to be fill in here, fill in there, but now it's fill in every single day. It might be different positions.
This ball lined, and Nolan climbs the ladder and robs Lewis Brinson to end the inning. But a home run by Derek Dietrich, who, to Huey's point, has clearly taken advantage of getting an everyday opportunity in Miami. 1-0. Marlins are up. Colorado Rockies baseball on AT Sports Net is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Rockies down 1-0 on the Dietrich home run. And it's the second opportunity for Nolan Arenado. He struck out against Trevor Richards. Richards has struck out 5. He's not allowed to hit through the first 3 innings.
It's going to change second time through. It's going to start right here. It was the 4th inning last night that the Rockies scored the 6 runs. So I think today, another opportunity to do that.
Here's the 2-0. Todd just was talking about not ever sitting on an off-speed pitch. I'm wondering if Nolan sat off speed there 2-0, because you just had to know in his mind there's no way I'm getting a fastball.
He is not going to challenge me. I don't.
And the reason I say that, based on that swing, it looked like.
Well, when especially if he fouled it straight back.
Yeah. He was on time. And that catches the upper part of the zone. Borderline pitch called a strike, so it's 2-2.
Barely on that Subaru strike zone. I think it was off.
Nolan last 8 games hitting .455 with 5 home runs, 16 driven in. Changeup's down, 3-2. Three for 4 yesterday for Nolan. 10 for 21 coming into the ballgame on the homestand. And again, he gets a strikeout on a fastball. That is strikeout number 6, 1 out. Cargo coming up, and we go to that suite again where Taylor McGregor is with Houston Street. Taylor?
Yeah, familiar face from that 09 playoff run. That was a fun season to enjoy. What do you remember the most?
Camaraderie, the emotion of it, the connectivity. So many of those faces are here today. You know, winning always bonds you as a group, but it's like we talked about earlier. There's that it factor that some teams have and some teams don't have. And when teams truly have it, it's a very rare thing, but that team did.
How would you say you grew as a pitcher here at Coors Field?
Is one, mental toughness, not making excuses. There's certain things that do happen to the baseball here that don't happen other places, but that just makes you better. You use that. Developed a changeup here. I mean, without that pitch, without developing, coach, and worked with me tirelessly on that pitch. Also, too, just this simple idea of getting ahead. How important is it to be 0-1? 0-1, 0-1, putting the hitters on their heels. So much of that I learned in that 2009 season, and then just continued developing it while pitching here. But this is a tough place to pitch, but if you make your pitches, you get outs.
How cool is it for you to be able to see some of your old teammates that you had great?
To be a member of the 25th anniversary, we got a hit. That's always special as a player. You play the game to be the best you can be to win, and feel that your efforts made a mark or helped the team win, and that's what this team is. You know, the guys is always fun. Some of these guys I haven't seen in 7 years, and you talk about that 2009 team though. Seeing them, you just pick up right where you left off. You just see them and hey, give them a hug, and you start talking like your teammates.
It's been fun for us to watch you connect with old teammates, but Drew, will send it back to you.
All right, Taylor. Good to see Streeter. Trevor Story, after the Rockies got their first hit. That line single to center by Cargo, 1 out.
It was nice to see Cargo too, using the big part of the field.
Street got to see up close Cargo's coming out season in 2009, and really in the postseason against Philadelphia when he went 10 for 17. He was a leadoff hitter back then. 1-0, and Story lines this to the left field corner. Cargo headed towards third. Stu Cole will pick him up there, and he'll stop him as Dietrich did a nice job getting it back to the infield quickly. Now the Rockies getting the feel maybe for Trevor Richards. Second and third with one out, with Gerardo Parra coming up.
Well, it started with Cargo going up the middle, and now Trevor ripping this double. And this was a changeup on the Subaru Supermo, but notice the location. It was up for Trevor, 20th double this year, and this ball was smoked to left field.
20 doubles leads the Rockies. Well, this is the right time for Gerardo Parra to be coming up, because you throw traffic out there and he's hitting about 1,000 of late.
Well, and they're playing the infield back other than at third base. Great opportunity.
Pinch 3-run double yesterday, and he lifts this ball to plenty deep enough center field. Cargo will tag. He'll move up. Trevor's going to move up also. Brinson showing off his arm. But you're not going to get Story, and the Rockies have tied it up. Parra doing the job. 1-1.
What I like, Drew, is he didn't wait around. He didn't wait around. Said, I can get a pitch, either the fastball, the changeup, whatever it's going to be, and I can hit a fly ball to center field to tie this game up. That's not going to be a problem. Deep enough for Brinson. His only option was to go to third, and Trevor had tagged up at second and got into scoring position over at third base now. So it's...
You know what I love? The team baseball that the Rockies have demonstrated, particularly offensively of late. I mean, Desmond, he's been in the middle of it. You don't throw him a strike. This is an aggressive guy, yet he's walked 8 times in the last 4 games. He walked his first time up today. Achieving More is brought to you by AT. In the last 4 games, look at this, 37 runs, almost a 370 batting average, slugging .645. 0-2.
And it hasn't been top heavy with just 1 or 2 guys. I think that's when you get on these rolls where you're scoring a lot of runs. We kind of harp on it daily. It's everybody from top to bottom. The old, hey, if they're not going to pitch to me, I'll leave it up to the next guy. He'll do it.
Good swing.
He'd like to have that changeup back on the Subaru strike zone.
Does he?
Yeah. Down 0-2. And
well, Richard's been good. He's allowed the opposition with 2 outs, runners in scoring position to hit just .214 against him.
But if I'm Trevor, I'm really anticipating a ball down in the dirt because he wants to overcompensate for that pitch being up.
And he went fastball there. That one was fortunately called a ball. It was in the Subaru strike zone. Desmond with 15 home runs, only 4 of which have come here at Coors Field.
7 and 8 or 7 8 of them the opposite way.
Story at third, and there's that ball you were talking about in the dirt, blocked nicely by Brian Holiday.
Pitchers know. They just said, wow, I got away with 1. He fouled it back. I'm not going to leave it there again. So that's what they do. They just overcompensate. And it was really evident after they threw the high fastball that they were going to go change up down.
Rockies have evened up the game. They have their first 2 hits. Single by Cargo. He scored eventually on a sac fly by Parra. Trevor Story had a double sandwiched in between. Good job by Desmond. Tracked that all the way to the outside corner and off the plate. So now it's 3-2. It was a good feeling when you go from 0-2 to 3-2.
You just feel like you're the momentum, the confidence is back on your side.
Holiday calls for the changeup. And he calls strike 3. Desmond can't believe that call by Carlos Torres. Rockies get a run to even things up on the sac fly by Parra. 1-1 going to the 5th. Larry Walker will be aboard shortly. You remember this gang? They were pretty good. The Blake Street Bombers. Some of the numbers for Larry Walker in his career: 334 average, 258 home runs with the Rockies. Vinny, he had 239 big flies with Colorado. Dante, 316. He had 201 home runs. The Big Cat is a neighbor of Walks down in Florida. He did a lot of damage, and so did Ellis. Ellie's here today. Tyler Anderson in a 1-1 game touches the outside corner on Yadiel Rivera. So it's 0-1. Rivera, Holiday, and then the pitcher Trevor Richards. 1-1 ball game. And we are going to welcome Larry Walker to the booth as that pitch is swung on and missed. 0-2.
Hello.
You look good, man. Every time I see it, it kind of bugs me to say this and always open with this, but you do look really good. There you go. That's it.
That's all
you're
you
not
got?
getting another.
That's all
You're
you
not getting
got?
another compliment from me.
I'm not used to a guy with headphones on hitting on me.
Well, don't get used to it.
Thank you, though. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
you look good, man.
Thank you.
You're taking good care of yourself.
I'm
Good
trying.
tan.
I was just up at my cabin up in British Columbia, and the weather was gorgeous for 4 days. I just kicked back and watched the waves hit the shore, and there's no electricity, so there's no phones, no TVs, no vehicles, because you only get there by boat. So it was just, that's why I'm so happy right now. It's not because I'm here with you guys.
Did you come straight from there? Here?
Yeah.
Did you catch anything?
Well, the river's not open for fishing, so
Oh, it's not?
No, the salmon aren't running, and I think it's supposed to be a small run this year, so I don't even know if they're going to open it at all.
How far is it from where you grew up? Your cabin?
About an hour drive.
Oh, it's not bad.
Yeah, real simple. A lot of buddies come up, you know, and hang out. They'll be up there in August, along with my boy Chris Pollock, who's watching right now. So they'll be really happy to hear me say his name. And you know Chris.
Yeah, I do know Chris.
Is there a refrigerator with cold ones?
There's a cooler with cold ones, especially when my brother from Virginia, Kerry, gets there. They disappear quick with him. Hope he's not watching.
Chris Pollock. That's a blast from the past.
Yeah, well, lefty from FSU. Yeah, lives out in LA now.
Right.
So, yeah, he saw you earlier and he sent me a text. He goes, "Wow, Huey's there." So.
You guys, of course, go way back. Where was it? Iowa together?
Yeah, Burlington, Iowa in 1986.
Wow.
Long time. I tell the story all the time. We were a co-op team, so we wore Expo uniforms at home, Royal
Royals
uniforms
on the road.
On the road.
Yeah.
That was crazy,
So
right?
There's a gong show.
Did you get 33 back then in the minor leagues? Do you remember? At any of your stops?
Did I?
Not in Burlington. You didn't have it in Burlington.
I don't
know
remember.
that.
I don't remember.
I think in West Palm you got it.
I know my first game with the Expos, they called me up for a game to play, just a one-day thing, and I went up and I wore number 55.
Oh, really?
That's all they gave me. John Silverman, in fact, is here with the Marlins.
That's
He was the
right.
equipment manager at the time. Talking to him today, so a lot of great memories with, you know, seeing Gebhard here today as well. It's good stuff.
Inside of Rivera, 3 and 2.
Yeah, I saw one of the jerseys down there, the Patrick Waugh and the Larry Walker, the 33.
Walker.
Yeah. There it is. I saw that. I was just looking down a little bit ago. I saw that. I was like, oh.
Do you have one of those at home anywhere?
I do somewhere. I don't know where. It might be boxed up in all my stuff in storage. I don't know.
Strike 3 on the outside corner. So Rivera's gone 1 out. That's 8 strikeouts for Tyler Anderson.
So we have strikeouts.
Yeah, we just had Todd up here.
Todd Hollingsworth?
Todd Hollingsworth. He's next door. Yeah. And he was saying it. Huey made the comment. Pitch goes by, and Todd kind of flinched because he liked it. You know, do you, when you watch a game, and you text us quite a bit, you watch the Rockies, you watch Cardinals, 2-year-old teams. Do you ever like see a pitch and you're like, you make some sort of movement while you're sitting on your couch going, "Boy, that looked good"?
I don't make a movement. I might say something.
Right.
Like probably not appropriate to say here. Like you know, what are you doing?
Right. Wait.
It's a 3-1 or a 2-0 pitch, and it's you know,
fastball.
it's in that middle box. You know, of the 9 that you show, so makes you wonder.
And very quick follow-up to that, because we asked Todd, do you miss the competition? He said the first couple of years I didn't. He said, you know what, I do now. I really do. And you know, I know you play some golf. Todd always, you know, still plays, you know, a lot of golf. This will be Nolan, easy play. Do you miss not competing at this level?
I miss the competition, and you know, as an athlete, I think we all do when we retire. That's never gone away. When I first retired, I missed playing as well, because I think I might have had something left. You know, I was fortunate to hit 289 my last year, so I might have had something left to keep going. But as years went on, I realized, well, I don't miss it no more, because I know I can't do it. So what's the point of missing something you can't do? So, but yeah, I haven't flinched.
Have you swung a bat at all?
The only time I swing now is I do the Cardinals fantasy camp in January every year, and then we play. We flat out play. There's 2 of us on every team, and legends were called, and we play on the team. So I got to play like seven 7-inning games. I think is what we do, or 6 7-inning games.
And you held up?
Yeah, play first base.
I remember when we were together in Burlington, they tried you out at third base.
Yeah, that's where I started, and then they moved me to the outfield. They said, your arm's too good, we want to put you out there, and I wasn't happy.
I think they were worried about the vendors over.
Well, I was worried about how far I had to run.
How slick was he fielding the ground ball, Huey?
Oh, he wasn't bad, but you weren't quite sure where the ball was going to go after he grabbed it. Because
people on the front row.
Yeah,
it was going to get there quickly.
It was going to get there quick, hard, and fast. I mean, you always had the arm.
Remember those bus rides?
Oh my goodness.
Lord almighty.
Yeah.
That was before you had.
Our GM our GM of the club was he was also the bus driver.
Really?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore, does it?
No, not at all.
And it was, you know, the buses back then too weren't the really luxurious ones that you have now.
Well, you didn't have headsets back then to listen to music, watch movies, none of that.
Cell phones.
You just had to stare at each other for 12 hours.
Just used to sleep up top on the luggage rack.
Yeah, or the guy would bring on the guitar. Was it John Troutwine?
Troutwine, yeah, I still talk to Trouty.
Yeah.
So I don't mind that. That's like a king-size bed for me.
Big guy like Larry, though, that wasn't good.
I don't even know what you're talking. What's a king-size bed? What's that?
Yeah. 1-1 on Starlin Castro on the ball that got away. They scored. They hit a wild pitch or pass ball. I think they're probably going to score at a pass ball.
This is one guy I've wondered about, this Castro. He seemed like he had all the ability in the world, and now he's just lost.
You know what? He's still put together a pretty nice career so far.
I'm just talking like this year. It just seems like he's.
Do you catch Marlins a little bit?
Huh?
You catch Marlins a little bit when you're home?
Not a ton. I've been to a couple games with some people, other players come into town. I'll go down and see a few innings and take off, but not a ton.
Maybe it's going from New York to Miami and the crowd and electricity in New York. And
it was Cubs too.
Cubs
New York. Yeah.
He's used to playing in front of a lot of folks.
Yeah.
We're talking about that with Todd. Did you realize how special it really was here when every night there's 40,000 people?
Well, like I said, when I became a free agent and there was a reason for me to come here, the fans were the #1 reason. You know, coming in as the Expos to Mile High and there's 85,000 people. This is great, man. I play in front of this every night. You know, that was #1, and then just the beauty of the city was the other reason.
Well, you're an outdoors guy, so you've told us before. I mean, it made a lot of sense for you.
Oh yeah, this is the mountains and everything remind me of back home, and I felt that way when I got here, and the people treated me that way as well. So it was a win-win for me.
2-2 on Castro. No swing. 3-2. Huey and I were talking about this because you said this on the pregame show with Jenny and the boys that you only got like a quarter of the way around the field today, and you spoke from the heart. You said, I really wanted to try to reach out and touch so many of these people.
They were all, you know, there's just a lot of great things were said to me today, and you know, getting hugs from people, and you're my favorite player. One guy said he named his dog after me, so.
There's a lot of people who named their dog after.
Yeah, so it wasn't some pretty, probably a pit bull or something stupid. Too, but no, it was great out there. You know, like I said, there's no way we could make it all the way around in an hour.
And Castro walks, so now there's 2 on with 2 outs for Brian Anderson, who has a single in 2 trips.
When you were standing out on the field when they were doing the ceremony and looking up at the video board and seeing the, you know, all the names, all the guys who went through, what were your emotions when you saw some of the highlights?
Well, you know, there's so many fun games here. You know, if you remember them all, and just they were battles. You know, you don't so much have that now here, but there were battles that were done at the plate. You know, now you have more battles that are actually done on the mound, and you get some pitching that can shut some people down. But we had some games. I remember running in off the right field, and we were down a touchdown already, and then we haven't touched a piece of wood yet. So it's like, okay, here, you want to slug? We're going to slug. So that's kind of what we did.
And you probably won that one. What a play by Trevor. Stick around.
Sure. This is easy.
It's real easy. It's easy to play, and I know I've heard that. 1-1. We'll come back more with Larry Walker after this. Challenge question. We ask you to go to AT Sportsnet RM on Twitter to cast your vote, and we'll show the results during the postgame show. What's your favorite Rockies memory? Opening day in '93 at home when EY went deep to begin the afternoon. Opening day in '95 at Coors Field when Dante in the 14th inning went deep. First playoffs back in '95 with that run to the World Series in 2007. All great choices. Larry Walker's with us, Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston. Taylor McGregor's in the suite with many of the former Rockies. How would you vote on that one? I think I know how you would vote on that.
The '95 when Dante hit the home run, I thought the double that somebody hit 2 outs in the 9th to get it to extra innings was.
Who was that?
Wasn't up there?
I know. I don't even remember that guy.
That was 67th on our list. We'll get to that in a
95 playoff, without a doubt.
I figured you'd say as much. And that was, you know, the Vegas Knights, you're a big hockey guy, they made an unprecedented run this year. An expansion team.
I went to Game 5
Did you go to Game 5?
Yeah, it's great.
What a great story. Here's Tony Walters at the plate. But back then, this is 25 years ago, or 23, when the Rockies go to postseason. But 25 years ago, an expansion team, you figured out it's going to be, you know, the better part of a decade to accumulate enough talent. Good play by Dietrich out there, 1 out. And yet, year 3, obviously you weren't here the first couple of years you were in Montreal, but you come aboard. Next thing you know, the Rockies are in the postseason. This place was delirious.
It was. That's why it's such a great memory, you know, to do what we did and make that playoff run and throw the champagne and stand up on the top level here and champagne everybody down below, the fans and all that. There was a lot of great memories from that year. A lot of great wins, and you know, it might have been a little quick start. You know, people are probably like, "Oh, these guys are going to be in the playoffs every year," and you know, that's what we wished would have happened. But after that, it kind of fell apart, unfortunately.
You doubled in Walt Weiss, by the way, in the 9th inning of that game.
Yeah, John Franco.
But you don't remember anything else. Left on
pitch?
left.
What was the pitch?
It was the pitch that hit the middle of my bat.
a lot of pitches hit the middle of your bat.
Well, he threw it where I was swinging. I was good.
I remember too, because you always had that rose-colored bat.
Yeah, Galen it's called. Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
I was actually struggling really bad up in Montreal, and Spike Owen had one of those bats, a Galen-colored bat. So I tried it one day. It was the first time I ever used it, and I got I think a double and a triple, went 2 for 3 off some guy named Bud Black.
Oh, no, really?
Seriously? And I stuck with that bat after that.
Really?
Yeah.
Still buddy about that today?
No, I didn't.
We'll tell him. Don't worry.
I was in his office earlier and told him, talking to him, but you know, like I said, that doesn't. Thinking about that bat.
He was talking about you today because he said, you know, you dropped in his office this morning, and Buddy, I don't know how well you knew him. Buddy is such an engaging guy, and he loves days like this where guys come back, and he loves major league debuts like we saw from Yency Almonte a couple of days ago. But he was all jacked up today.
Well, he's got some Canadian blood in him.
Absolutely.
Too, I believe so.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
His parents both from Canada.
Right.
Got a little hockey in it. Got a little A in it.
Yeah. It's good to go back home and say "hey" every now and then. Just nobody said what did you say? I guess everybody said
they
it.
understood you. Right?
Yeah, it made sense.
Yeah. Been talking about expansion a lot lately. I'm on board for having baseball back in Montreal.
Yeah. So are almost every person in Montreal. You know, they're fighting hard for it. You know, you see some of these parks and the attendance that they're getting. It's not real good. So I think Montreal could fare well with that.
Yeah. Well, I hope it happens. Montreal, as you guys would especially know, having both played up there, is a great city. And if you get the right park, it can't be Olympic Stadium, obviously. Right. It'd be great to see you return. Go enjoy your teammates, man. It's great to see you as always.
That's it?
That's it. If you want to stick around, you can.
Stick around the whole game. No, I can't.
Yeah. Hey, it's good to see
people want to hear me.
See you, brother.
All right, guys.
Joined now by former Rockies pitcher Aaron Cook. He was a part of that 07 team that made the run to the World Series. Now, Cookie, when I think about that team, it was really a team that made the city of Denver fall in love with baseball again. Being back here this weekend, have you felt that?
Yeah, I definitely think so. The fans are awesome out here, and every time I see somebody on the street, they say, "We remember 07. Thank you for that year. Made our lifetime of baseball," and it's just really fun to see.
When you think about that run, what stands out to you the most?
Oh, probably Spilly's home run he hit and ran about 90 miles an hour around the bases. That definitely sticks out the most. And then Todd's walk-off homer against the Dodgers.
You think Spilly could still run that fast?
Maybe not quite that fast.
Okay. What has it been like this weekend, being back with some of your old teammates and remembering the times?
Oh, it's been great. You know, being down in Texas, I don't get to really reminisce about baseball in the past. So anytime we get together, bringing up old stories, being in the clubhouse, on the plane, in the hotel rooms, that's the stuff you really miss when you're done playing. It's not actually being on the field, it's camaraderie.
When people talk about that 07 team, too, they talk so much about the chemistry within the clubhouse. How would you describe what that was like that made it so special?
Well, it was like we were a band of brothers, and we were all pulling in the same direction for the same goal. And, you know, if we didn't have that, there's no way we make that run coming in to the end of the season.
So one of the things Spilly always talks about, too, if you guys don't have those 8 days off between the NLCS and the World Series, you might have had a good chance at winning. Do you agree?
I think we might have. I got a chance to play with Boston after the fact, and they said if we wouldn't have gone and given you guys 8 days off, there's a good chance you might have gotten us. But you never know. We went out there and gave it our best shot, and we came up short.
Awesome. Well, it was so much fun to watch, and it's been fun having you guys around this weekend. So thanks for being with us. Drew?
All right, Taylor, thanks. Always good to see Aaron Cook, who had that super sinker. He's a ground ball machine, one of the all-time great Rockies pitchers. This is poked to center field by Real Muto. So a leadoff single in a 1-1 game here in the 6th. Real Muto will be followed by Cameron Maben.
It's a hit now for Real Muto in 10 out of his last 11 starts.
Playing first base today, but he leads all catchers in a ton of offensive categories: hits, doubles, batting average, runs scored. Here's the Asheville native, Cameron Maben.
Or the way I look at it, too, is the guy that at 16 years old had a better swing than Spilly.
Yeah.
That story last night, I know. That was a great story he told last night.
And if you miss it, we'll give you the Cliff Notes version. But Spilly was playing in Asheville. Spilly was a professional, and their bat boy was 16-year-old Cameron Maben. And Maben obviously was a really talented kid.
Yeah.
And he would take batting practice with the tourists from time to time.
Spilly's 23.
And Spilly, you know, Spilly's a grown man now. He's had a great career at UCSB, and he's like, I did not want to be in Cameron's group because he was hitting the ball twice as far as just about anybody else. He had a better swing than anybody else.
Spilly and his family. No, wait a second. That's
Addie's kids.
Yeah, that's Garrett Atkins.
Yeah, those are Addie's kids.
Sorry, I had to take a closer look.
Here's a strike. But Spilly's there's Stacy, and there's Spilly's kids, Sierra and Tatum,
Houston,
Stacy, and then Aaron Cook and Houston Street.
I don't blame Stacy for not wanting to be around Spilly. No. She just needed a break.
And the Rockies get the force here. They do. Well,
that's not an easy play.
Trevor.
Not an easy play at all. You know you want to get the force play, get that lead runner. So he has to come get it. He knows he's only has one option, but look where, when he catches this, how he has to throw back across his body to DJ, and it's a little half flip, it's so hard to do because do you come up high? Now, he's in on the grass, and then he still has to throw across his body to get to DJ and get the lead runner.
It's one of the reasons, one of the many reasons, is Dietrich, who homered his last time on swings and misses there. One of the many reasons I love this game so much, because it's such a cerebral game, not just, you know, a physical game, not just about one's talents in how they swing the bat or field a ground ball. Trevor Story knew, I got to cut down this lead runner, given that scoreboard always dictates how you're going to play. 1-1 game, fairly late in the ball game. Instead of just taking the easy out. Ninth inning, you're up by 6 runs. You may have just fired it across the diamond. We're counting outs now, right?
Definitely, you're counting it. But for Trevor, what went through his mind in about 1.5 seconds? That's, to me, what I think about. Because as soon as that ball was hit, first thing he's thinking, I got to come charge and get that baseball. Okay, that's the first thing. Once he's on the way, after about 2 steps coming to get the ball, the second thing is, once I catch this, I've got to make sure I get a good feed off the second. Then third thing, once he catches it, how am I going to make that throw? It's got to be across my body. Do I come up high? Do I drop down a little 3/4? All of that happened within 1.5 seconds.
And you're aware of who's running. Realmuto runs well.
He's really good, yeah. If it's a normal catcher, and I say normal, like, you know, a slug type guy, one that's not very fast, then you got a lot more time. You can set your feet, maybe even come over and make an underhand flip. But with Realmuto, who can run, you don't have that option.
As you said, all of that you're processing in a second, maybe a second and a half at most. This is popped up Nolan Arenado territory. And it found ground. That's the second out. Now to bring up Lewis Brinson.
The first 15,000 fans through the gates for the Rockies-Marlins game tomorrow. On Sunday, we'll receive a 25th anniversary season Blake Street Bombers t-shirt courtesy of Coca-Cola. So here it is, right here. We're going to go ahead and first 15,000 through the gates tomorrow.
It's a great shirt.
It's a great shirt. I saw Keith Duggar wearing this today, and I was like, man, I like that shirt.
Yeah. Perfect day to wear it with several of the Bombers in town. Vinny's here every day. Walks here, obviously. Ellis Burks is here. Big Cat unable to make it in. Brinson. It's a fly ball to shallow center field. Charlie makes the catch. Tyler Anderson's pitching a jam. Rockies got to get him some runs. It's 1-1 going to the bottom of the 6th inning. He has been outstanding. Brought to you by UC Health. Well, Spilly still got it, throwing a little BP earlier to a lot of the guys that are in town for the silver anniversary weekend. Vinny, he can still swing it. He went deep a bunch of times against Spilly. And then, you know, got in the cage, your V, and he got talked into it because initially he said, I'm not swinging the bat. He's in jeans. And then your V, that big smile, he said, all right, give me a bat.
I think peer pressure got to him.
Peer pressure got to him. Didn't get to everybody. There were some guys who didn't. didn't swing. There's Yorvie. We're going to talk to him in a little bit. Charlie leading off in a 1-1 game, bottom of the 6th inning. Trevor Richards, in his first appearance ever against the Rockies, has thrown the ball very well. 2-0 count for Charlie, 0 for 2. And that's in there for a strike.
It's kind of
Third time through, real quick. The league's hit .435 with a 1400+ OPS against this kid.
Because you start to see the changeup. We saw a little bit better at bats the second time through with Cargo and Trevor and Gerardo. That really jumps up, and it not surprising because when you only have 2 pitches, you don't have anything left in reserve.
Two. And Charlie with a base hit, got it just over the head of Castro. And the Rockies, for just the second time in the ball game, have the leadoff man on. For the Rockies, just their 3rd hit.
And it came on a fastball, 91 miles an hour. Got in just ever so slightly onto Charlie, but even with the lead book, Starling Castro on the Subaru Supermo, he's still a 1.5 feet away.
DJ might have been able to get to that one, being 6'4" with good hops. So here's Nolan. He has struck out twice against Richards, so a heavy payback on his mind right now.
When he struck out on 2 different pitches, the first one was a changeup, the second one was on a fastball.
I'll tell you a quick story about Trevor Richards. You know, we mentioned that he went to Drury University, and then he was playing for the Gateway Grizzlies, about 40 minutes from his hometown in Southern Illinois. Independent League Baseball. And a scout for the Marlins, David Espinoza, was at Trevor's game, not to see Trevor. He was looking at a couple of relievers on the team that Gateway was playing. Richards started, and he's watching this kid, and he's watching this kid, and he makes a call after the game to some people in their scouting department. He said, I just saw a guy with an 80 changeup here in an independent league game. He graded out his changeup in 80. And folks, for those that don't know what we're talking about, you get rated 20 to 80. 80 is the best in the business.
That's Trevor Hoffman-esque.
Exactly. And he didn't rate it a 60, which would be well above average and get the attention of a scouting director. He rated it an 80. And this ball is double play territory. Two outs. That'll bring up Cargo, who had the first hit against Richards. It came in the 4th inning, and he would eventually score the Rockies' only run.
Fans, in addition to merchandise and tickets, Rockies Dugout stores are now offering exclusive gift with purchase specials like player signed baseball. Stop in today for yours.
Single to center field and a strikeout for Cargo. 1-1. Rockies with 3 hits, the Marlins with 4. That's it. In fact, one other note on Trevor Richards. So when the Marlins signed him, they didn't sign him for any money. Say what? They had to pay the Frontier League $3,000 to sign him.
So there's your signing bonus.
That was his signing bonus. He went to the Frontier League. He got nada.
Tied 1-1 as we head to the 7th, and we're joined now by Jorvi Torrealba, the Rockies catcher during that infamous 07 run. All right, I got to take you back a little bit. As you sit up here, please relive for me Game 3 of the World Series when you guys are coming home and playing for the first time in front of your fans in the World Series.
Wow, that was amazing. That's unbelievable. I remember like it was yesterday with the white towels and the, wow, that was just a great feeling, you know, coming back here. The fans deserve that, you know, and it was just a great feeling, you know, being in here and then see all those towels and being the World Series. I mean, it was just amazing.
As far as your career is concerned, where does that 07 year rank?
Well, that was on the top of the list, you know, for me. I mean, my years here in Denver with the Rockies was probably, you know, my career. Those years here was like all my career in those 4 or 5 years I played here, because it was amazing. I get a chance to play, and then obviously, you know, all those good memories, playoff, World Series. It was just amazing.
You know, what I remember is when you hit that home run against Arizona, you're going around the bases with your hand up. What was that feeling like in that moment?
Well, going back, you know, I mean, first of all, the pitcher was Livan Hernandez. We played together in San Francisco, so I kind of know. He was my friend. I kind of know the way he liked to pitch. And I called timeout. He called timeout. Was kind of nervous, you know, the game tied 1-1. So I was looking for something away. He threw something in. I just kind of react to it, hit the ball at a ballpark. I couldn't believe it. I was running the bases the hard I could, and then I couldn't believe it. So I just started pointing to God and then to the guys and everybody, like, thanks God, it worked out, you know, I hit a home run. It was just an unbelievable feeling.
What was so cool about that run, too, is it took a little bit of everyone on that team. How would you describe what overall the team chemistry was like that year?
We were a family. That's amazing. We were just a family. It seems like we don't need to have Helton come through, you know, with the home run. We don't need Holiday. Everybody was doing, you know, the little part. We have Willie Tavera that year. He got on base 2 seconds, 2 third. Then Masui hit a base hit, and then we scored 1 run. And then obviously big boys like Helton, Holiday, Atkins, they hit home runs or whatever. But it was like a family, you know. We have fun on the field, off the field, and it was just awesome.
One of the things I've talked to a lot of the guys about today is just how that 07 team really created a love for baseball in this city again. Do you feel that as you've been back here this weekend?
Oh yeah, I believe so, because 2007, I mean, if you remember right, early in the year, that year, wasn't many fans, you know, in here. Well, I mean, our crowd was probably, I don't know, 13, 14,000 people, you know, per game. And then through the year, we start winning, and people start liking baseball more and more, and then we start playing, obviously, much better. We won 21 out of 22. The next thing you know, it was like full house, you know, every game, and then now you can see it. I mean, people like and seeing baseball a little bit more now after those years, you know, they start winning. So it just is awesome. And seeing they deserve this too. So.
Well, thank you so much. It has been so much fun seeing you guys all reconnect. Thanks for joining us. Drew.
Always great to see Jorvi. Taylor, thank you. 2 on now. Nobody out. And with the pitcher due up, Richards will give way to Justin Bohr. The Rockies now have action in their bullpen.
They don't really have many options as far as the Marlins as pinch hitters. I mean, you have to go left on left. If Rojas was in the originally starting lineup, they had to take him out. He's the only right-handed bat on the bench. They've got 3 lefties. And Bohr's not up there to bunt.
And Bohr's up there to try to hit the ball in the seats. That's what he does. Guy he's pinch hitting for, Richards, reached twice. First major league hit. He also had a walk. Tyler, who has pitched a beautiful game to this juncture, trying to keep this thing at 1-1. Two balls and a strike. One of the interesting things about Tyler Anderson this year, righties are hitting just 239 against him. Lefties have hit 333.
Just those reverse splits. You know, I think for the right-handers, he utilizes the cutter changeup. But with the lefty, he doesn't throw the changeup. Or if he does, it's just spotty. It's just fastball cutter to the left-handers. That's coming into today.
What you want to see here is a ground ball. Marlins hit more ground balls than any team save the Padres in baseball, but that's not a ground ball. That's a base hit. And coming around third is Rivera. He gets a green light, and he'll score. And the Marlins take a 2-1 lead. 3 straight singles here to open the 7th inning. Justin Bour, who's been a really effective pinch hitter.
Well, he's now 4 for 7 pinch hitting with 7 RBIs. And here is the cutter off the end of the bat for Justin Bour on the Subaru Supermo, but still just powers that ball out to right center field.
Well, his first 3 hits were home runs off the bench.
And also Holiday going first to third.
Well, Anderson goes off. He goes 6+. And now the Rockies are behind 2-1. Tyler was throwing a beautiful game to the 3 straight knocks. Marlins have taken a 2-1 lead here in the 7th. 3 straight singles against Tyler Anderson. The Rockies now will turn to Brian Shaw. Starlin Castro, the leadoff hitter this afternoon for the Marlins, will be coming up on the road. It is brought to you by Lazy Days RV. As you look at Shaw's numbers.
3 and 5 on the year. Got the W the game the other night when the Rockies ended up beating the Mets 10-8. Third of an inning pitched before Brian got a ground ball to Todd Frazier. That's the last time he's on the mound. That was 3 days ago. Going to get a ground ball double play here off the bat of Starlin Castro.
And a first pitch strike.
Top of the Subaru strike zone for Brian.
Here's the next road trip for the Rockies. Monday will be an off day in San Francisco. 3 against the Giants, 3 against the Dodgers. And we'll have most of those games right here on AT Sportsnet. Saturday is a Fox game. Thursday with the early start, we're not televising. Swung on and missed, 1 and 2. The Lazy Days RV road trip, and those will be most important games inside the National League West. The Rockies under 500 right now inside the division. 1 and 2 on Castro. Ryan Holiday is at third, and Justin Bohr, the pinch single, he's at first. Punch out here would be huge.
That's what Brian's going to try to hunt too. So now you get that slider, that cutter that he likes to throw. Started outside.
Well, I mean, he really throws 2 pitches. He throws the cutter in the mid-90s, and then he'll back off and throw a slider in the mid-80s. That clearly was the cutter. 3 and 2.
The good thing for the Rockies right here, you don't have to worry about Justin Bohr running it first. He's not going anywhere.
Another 3-2 upcoming. It's the most shocking part of this game, and it's not a knock on the kid, Trevor Richards, but you don't expect a guy this young with, you know, just really a 2-pitch mix. He threw a couple of curveballs to come in and dominate 3 times through the lineup.
And his 9th big league start, he had 8 strikeouts. 6 of them came via the changeup. Just the 2 on the fastball.
A lot of, you know, and a lot of, as Buddy sometimes would describe, funny swings, right? Uncomfortable looking swings.
Indecisive swings.
Yeah, great word for it. Yep.
Indecisive. It was like, oh, is it a fastball changeup? By that time, it was too late. And making obviously his first start ever at Coors Field. We've seen some of those pitchers almost melt on the mound.
And this is slowly hit. Nolan will still get Castro. What a play as Holiday started down the line and realized that would be an easier out for Nolan. He went back, and Nolan, still with that howitzer of his, gets the out at first. And so Bohr goes to second.
And he needed that arm because he comes and gets it. I'm not sure he's thinking I'm going to throw this right away because of that runner at third going down the line.
They're going to take a look at this.
But he got rid of it, threw it. This will give us a clear view on the Subaru Supermo. Boy, that's close. I think his foot might have hit the bag. Certainly Castro could still run because nothing that Nolan did wrong. He came up with this and he fired a strike right on the money.
And as we look at it, they just indicated that he is safe, so it'll go as an infield hit. And now the bases are loaded. 4 straight singles. And the Rockies will bring the infield in, try to cut the run off at the plate with Brian Anderson coming up. Marlins, a team that averages only 3.5 runs a game, last in baseball in so many offensive categories. Now the infield drops back. They'll turn 2 up the middle. And it's fouled off by Anderson.
I think that's the wise play, just down by a run. Because the last thing you'd want is just one of those maybe squeakers that gets by if you have the infield in, and then they score a couple more and have guys at second and third.
Blocked by Tony, 1-1.
What you really hope for is he rolls over on one of these, hits it to Nolan, and you can complete the 5-2-3 double play.
One ball, one strike on Anderson. 1-2. Shaw's always been around a strikeout per inning pitch. Some years a little below that, some years right around a strikeout per inning pitch. He's a guy that gets a lot of soft contact when he's going well. He has admittedly been going through the roughest stretch of his career. Last 5 years, he has been the 3 or 4 best setup men in baseball. 1-2, trying to get Anderson here. Cutters away.
He's probably not getting as many strikeouts because he hasn't been, you know, ahead as much as he has been in the past.
Ryan Anderson hitting over 400 with runners in scoring position. It's a tough out. And the ground ball to second, and they'll come home with it. That's a great job by LeMahieu.
Wow. Is there anybody in this ballpark thought he was going home?
Well, not where he's positioned, and then he had to move to his left. But here's DJ, one of the brightest players you'll ever be around. He had a catcher running at third, and he knew the ball was hit hard enough that if he makes a high-quality throw, they're not going to turn 2 on this, but he's going to cut down a run.
And he threw this sidearm all the way home on the money. Right here, you're thinking he's going to go to second, turn the double play on the Subaru Supermo. No, I'm going to get that lead runner. I was looking, once that ball was hit, I focused my attention on Trevor as he was going to the bag, thinking the DJ was going to turn 2.
He's a baseball genius. He really is. And I'm not being facetious. He is. He remains 2-1. Now Real Muto, toughest out in the Marlins lineup. I'll tell you a story quickly. Charlie Blackmon, who is an extremely bright person, period, and a very bright baseball mind, whenever he has a question about how something should be done philosophically in baseball, the guy he goes to is DJ LeMahieu. He says, nobody knows the game like DJ LeMahieu. This comes from Charlie.
Charlie is pretty bright himself.
Absolutely.
I love the play because it tells me, too, he's not scared of what's going to happen, the outcome. All he knew was, I need to get this lead runner. I'm playing back, but it's hit hard enough where I can still get him. Now you're literally 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning.
Get
only
another
down by
ground
1.
ball, yeah. And Real Muto, tardy on the swing, 95-mile-an-hour cutter, 1-2.
I want to go back to the arm angle from which DJ threw this ball. So he gets it, but notice how he kind of drops down and then throws a floater to home. Arm action. And that doesn't get any better from 10, 15 feet away.
Yeah, maybe even a little bit more, right? Off the plate. 2-2. And I think, and you put yourself back in the middle infield, DJ does everything with purpose. He wanted to make sure he got rid of it quickly. That's why he didn't come way up top.
And that's why he threw that ball sidearm to home. Remember the thought process for Trevor a couple innings ago? Same thing just happened to DJ.
Brilliant play. 2-2 on Real Muto.
You got to get that ball down. Get that ball down, you get those ground balls. That's when you.
And I also think when the ball's down on the cutter, and we were talking the other day to Mickey Callaway, who was his pitching coach in Cleveland. He said, you know, when he gets some funks, he would be up, and he does work up quite a bit. But when he's down, and you remember this, a hitter, you're going to see a little more depth with the cutter.
Right.
As opposed to just east-west movement, you'll get a little north-south movement.
Yeah, and then when you get north-south movement, that's when you get the toppers. So you hit the top half of the baseball. when it's east-west, those are barrel finders. They stay on the barrel longer.
Marlins have taken a 2-1 lead here in the top of the 7th. 1 out, bases loaded. And that ball hit to deep right field. Cargo is not going to catch it. It's gone. Grand slam off the bat of JT Realmuto. And now the Marlins have a 6-1 lead. And we were just talking about it. When the ball is up, that can happen.
Second career grand slam for JT. After all that hard work, you get that lead runner, but then it's a cutter that's letter high. High leg kick gets the foot back down and stays behind the baseball. And off the auxiliary scoreboard, now you're down 6-1.
Now, I was saying a moment ago, we were discussing, bases loaded, nobody out. The bad break of that roller up the third base line, Castro beats it. And you're thinking about limiting the damage. If somehow, Brian could have gotten out of that, gotten the team to the dugout where it's 3-1, you still feel very good about where you are. Now it's a big hill to climb, down by 5 runs. Realmuto has faced Shaw twice. He's hit 2 home runs against him. Tyler Anderson, his final line, 6+, 3 runs, 7 hits, a walk and 8 strikeouts. Really threw the ball well.
Yeah, deserved a better fate, for sure.
The ground is short. 2 outs as Maben's retired. That'll bring up Derek Dietrich.
Red Ziegler still up in the Marlins pen.
Yeah, he's become their 7th inning guy. When the Rockies were down in Miami earlier in the year, he was their closer.
He's closed before. Remember him in Arizona.
They have Bearclaw closing now, and they have Steckenrider on the plus side, typically in the 8th inning. Adam Conley's a former starter who's involved late. He's their only left-hander. So the Rockies left to rally against this Marlins bullpen. First things first, got to get the final out in the 7th. 5-run 7th inning. Three and 1 on Dietrich. He homered against Anderson in the 4th. That was the Marlins' only run until this inning began. Shaw walks Dietrich.
Harrison Musgrave in the Rockies bullpen.
And he's going to be coming into the ball game. 6-1 Miami. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Beautiful day at Coors Field, but now the scoreboard not so pretty as the Marlins have scored 5 times here in the 7th inning. They have hit around, and Harrison Musgrave will replace Brian Shaw. He just walked Derek Dietrich. There's a man on, grand slam by JT Realmuto 2 hitters ago against Shaw.
Harrison an inning on Wednesday. 1 hit, couple walks. Last time he pitched, that was against the Mets.
Lewis Brinson 0 for 3. The Rockies now have allowed, you know, we talked about the first inning being a problem, but the Rockies in the 7th inning have allowed a major league most 63 runs in the 7th inning. The second most runs allowed in the 7th inning this year, the Cincinnati Reds. It's not close though. They've allowed 51. This ball is lifted to shallow left center field, and Gerardo gets there to end the inning. 9 come to bat and 5 score for the Marlins. Work to be done. The Rockies trail 6-1. Lexus look back. The Rockies got a run when Trevor Story doubled. That moved to Cargo, who had singled to third. And on the very next pitch, Gerardo Parr, deep fly ball to center, and the Rockies had tied the game at 1. That's all they would get against Trevor Richards. And last inning, 5 runs for the Marlins, highlighted by the opposite field grand slam by JT Realmuto off Brian Shaw. So it's 6-1 as the Rockies come up at the bottom of the 7th inning. And they'll be facing Brad Ziegler, who they know a little something about from his days in Arizona.
Yeah, he's faced the Rockies in 42 ball games. He's 5-2 with a 3.32 ERA in his career. You know about the submarine sinker. You got to try to get him elevated. He's looking to get the ball down on the ground. And 20 ball games at Coors Field, allowed just 2 home runs.
This is slowly hit to third. And on the bag is Realmuto, according to first base umpire Carlos Torres.
Let's see how this goes as we take a look at Brian Anderson. This is his 31st start. Well, Looks like he kept his foot on the back. 31st start this year at third base. Muto pretty active over there and athletic.
Real
Snag
good,
that one.
yeah, real good play by Real Muto. One out, Parra at the plate. And this ball is hit pretty well to center field. Turning his back as Brinson. This is going to get on out of here. Stay high, Gerardo Parra. He's driven in both runs today. I mean, every night it seems like he's driving in a couple. Fourth home run for Parra.
Mentioned about just the small amount of home runs that Ziegler's allowed here at Coors. That's just his third. Gerardo takes him out to the big boy territory. Dead center field. That ball didn't sink at all, and Gerardo been finding the barrel in a regular way this last 2 months. Gerardo now 3 for 7 against Ziegler career.
.433 feet the distance on that. That's strike 2 on Ian Desmond. That ball was scalded.
Yeah, it was.
105 miles an hour off the bat. Two and two on Desi. A couple of changes defensively for Miami. They take Derek Dietrich out. Cameron Maben goes from right to left, and JB Shuck comes into right field. Two. And that's the second out.
Subaru StatCast for Gerardo Parra's home run. You mentioned it, 433 feet. Exit velocity of 105.2, and then the launch angle 23 degrees. Fourth home run of the year, 35th RBI for Gerardo, who is still hitting on the day, 305.
And Tony Walters grounds out to end the inning, so the Rockies get 1 run back on the home run by Parra. They trail 6-2 going to the 8th inning at Coors Field. AT Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Cheyenne Frontier Days. Log on to CFDrodeo.com for the full lineup. Beautiful day at Coors Field. The score not so much. The Marlins with a 5-run 7th lead, 6-2. But it's been a special day nevertheless, because the Rockies celebrating 25 years of baseball at the major league level, and they brought back their top 25 all-time players as the fans voted. Many were able to make it. Helton and Walker and Estacio and so many others in the house today. It's going to be a nice dinner later on.
Yeah, it is.
Musgrave to Yadiel Rivera, and this is popped up left side.
The Rockies gift cards are a great gift for all Rockies fans. They can be redeemed for game tickets at Rockies dugout stores or for merchandise and concessions at Coors Field.
Brian Holiday doing the catching this afternoon. He's 1 for 3. And that pitch in there for a strike. So again, Anderson goes 6+, 3 runs, 7 hits, a walk, and 8 strikeouts. And as you said, Huey, appropriately, he deserved a better fate. He really threw the ball well.
95 pitches, 62 for strikes, had 5 ground ball outs, a lot of soft contact if they did make it. I mean, it was an effort today from Tyler that I know he's going to be disappointed that they painted him for 3 runs, but I thought he threw the ball extremely well.
Holiday grounds out 6-3. And that'll bring up J.B. Shuck, who came in to right field last half inning. I don't know if you'd say any of the Rockies starters have been dominant this year. We've seen some dominant individual performances at times. A couple times from John Gray, yesterday being one. Kyle Freeland has been so steady and really good. Early Chad Bettis threw out some great starts, but the point of my statement is that I would say 85–90% of the time the Rockies starters have given the Rockies a chance to win that baseball game.
And that's what you always ask for, correct? I mean, that's what everybody says. Just give us a chance, and I'm with you, Drew. I think they have.
Yep. Good inning from Harrison Musgrave. Back to work offensively, down by 4. Pitching performance this afternoon. Tyler Anderson and Trevor Richards both were very good. Tyler got painted up a little bit in his Final inning of work. Richards, the Rockies could never figure out that fastball changeup combination. Got just one run off him in 6 innings. He allowed just 3 hits. That's our Kubota pitching performance. We move on to the bottom of the 8th inning, 9-1-2. So we'll see a pinch hitter here. It's Noel Cuevas to face Drew Steckenrider, who has been unscored upon in his last 14 outings, the best stretch of his career.
Yeah, 0 ERA in June, 182 batting average against. This guy.
It's in the air to deep right field, and Chuck makes the catch in foul ground.
Just a defensive replacement, although Cameron Maben had been playing right field, but that's why they put JB in right field, because you know it's just 10 feet from the line to the wall. That's all you have before you go crashing in. So 1 step, 2 steps, and then you know it's coming up on the Subaru Supermo. Even though it's padded, it still jars your body.
So here's DJ, 0 for 2 and a walk. And the fastball on the outside corner at 94 for a strike. Rockies made a move earlier today. Yency Almonte, who made 2 quick appearances, helped out the bullpen, did a really good job a couple of days ago. A couple earned runs yesterday. He was sent back to Albuquerque. The Rockies were playing with a short bench, 3-man bench. They're back to a 4-man bench. Pat Valaika called back for the 3rd time this year, and he's been swinging it better down in Albuquerque for Glen Allen Hill.
He made it back in time for photo day today.
And Yency was still in town.
Yes, he
for
was.
Photo day.
So he did the photo day as well.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Cherish every day in the big leagues when you're a young player.
Oh, yeah, you do.
And this ball lined to right, but it's right at Shuck. 2 outs.
MLB at Bat is your #1 Rockies app. Stay connected all season with pitch tracking, in-game highlights, stats, news, and more. MLB at Bat. Charlie 1 for 3 in his career against Steckenrider. That 1 home run.
On the corner for a strike. So see what Steckenrider did against LeMahieu. Glove side fastball right on the black, 94. Against the lefty Blackman, arm side fastball on the black at 94. That's why
he's pitching late innings.
That's why he's pitching late innings. Why he's been so effective of late. Control, in the vernacular of pitching coaches around baseball, is not walking a lot of guys. Command is being able to, within the strike zone, put the ball where you want. So there's some guys who may not walk a lot of guys, but they're giving up a lot of hits because they're somewhat wild within the zone.
Yeah, so there's 2 different grades that you'll put on a pitcher. You'll put a control grade on and a command grade, and they can be 2 different things.
Yep. It's important to make that distinction.
It is. It's a good one to make, because sometimes, you know, when you first get into scouting and we're talking about pitchers, you think, well, it's the same number. It's going to be the same number. Why wouldn't it be?
Sure. I think they're synonyms, right?
Yeah, exactly.
2-2 on Charlie. And Charlie lines this ball to left, and it is caught. What a grab by Maben. I didn't think there was any way. Cameron Maben, who's really a center fielder by trade, makes an extraordinary catch and robs Charlie of a double.
the score. But what a day, the 25th anniversary for the Rockies. You guys seeing a lot of your former teammates and friends. So much fun.
It was a lot of fun up in the suite. Got to hang out, talk, reminisce a lot like last year, and more importantly, decide where we're going to dinner.
Yeah, where is that, by the way?
I can't tell you where we're having dinner, but we usually like to enjoy dinner when the Rockies win.
That's right.
And we can enjoy dinner a lot better, if you know what I mean, if the Rockies win.
Positive thoughts.
Positive thoughts.
Positive
thoughts for us, please.
Positive thoughts.
For us, for cold, frosty
Drew,
beverages.
Huey, we'll send it back to you.
All right, guys, Jeff Hoffman on the mound in the top of the 9th inning for the Rockies. And he'll face Starlin Castro in the top of this Miami order. Anderson singled back in the first to extend his streak of reaching to 20 games, and he hits a high fly ball to right. Cargo will make the catch.
Fifth game of the season for Jeff Hoffman.
Did I say Anderson? I'm sorry. That was Starlin Castro. Brian's coming up right now. My bad. There's the numbers on Hoffman.
Well, and Jeff pitched in the Mets series 2 nights ago, 2/3 of an inning, gave up a couple hits with no runs allowed by Jeff.
Did I tell you, Huey, that Anderson had a hit in the first inning and is now reaching 20 straight?
Yeah.
You heard that?
Yeah, I did hear that.
Okay.
Second longest in the National League. I'm not sure you said that right then, but yeah, I heard the hit in the second or in the first. And during that time, his on-base percentage over 420.
Ball and a strike on Anderson. Saw last year real good curveball times from Jeff Hoffman. Rockies in the bottom of the 9th will have Arenado, Gonzalez, Story, and they're going to need more. Swung on and missed on cue.
And there's a curveball. Listen up, all Colorado State fans. You're invited to watch the Rockies and Marlins tomorrow, but you got to buy the CSU ticket package to get a limited edition hat at Rockies.com/CSU.
JT Realmuto, been the hitting star in this series for Miami. 3 hits last night. He was on 4 times, hit the ball squarely 4 times, and in his last at bat in the 7th, he hit a grand slam against Brian Shaw, hit it over the auxiliary scoreboard in right. Took a 2-1 game, made it 6-1. It's a weekend at the Casey. Game's always on in the background. Billy hasn't been invited back since he spent the afternoon up there. Yeah, he burned. That's right. He burned the food.
hot dogs. They said, no, you're not coming back. How many teams do you think are going to call on JT Realmuto, see if he's available for a trade?
I think any team with a catching need made phone calls in the offseason. And those, I'm sure, continue for Michael Hill right now. Michael's with the team right now. Michael, longtime head of baseball operations for the Marlins. He's the one guy, it seemed like, the one notable guy that in the transition stayed aboard.
They're smart to do that.
Well, another guy they were smart to keep there is the guy that runs their draft, Stan Ming. The baseball man. And of course, you know, on the field, they kept Donnie and his staff, Don Mattingly. 3-2 on Realmuto. He walks. He may be the only big name they didn't move in the offseason. And again, he's under control through 2020. So there's no urgency or need to move Realmuto.
But as soon as they moved those other guys, he was pretty vocal about wanting to get moved himself.
I certainly understand that from the player standpoint, but you know, as you immerse yourself in the process and you start to see some of the young talent, the Brinsons coming up, you know, his tune I'm not saying it has changed. I have no idea, but you know, it could change where you start looking in that crystal ball thinking, you know what, we can compete here maybe sooner than some people expected. The line out to center field will end the inning. The Rockies down 4 as they come to bat in the bottom of the 9th inning. A grand slam in the 7th inning, hit by JT Realmuto. Well, who wants tacos? Fans, follow us at ATT Sportsnet RM on Twitter to receive the Rockies alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies do score 7 in a game. They need 7 right now, and they're going to have to rally against the closer for Miami, Kyle Bearclaw. You mentioned Realmuto and teams calling on Realmuto. I'm sure teams will be calling on this guy also.
Well, the Marlins got Bearclaw a few years ago in exchange for Steve Cishek, and you look at this arm of Bearclaw, 34 strikeouts and 32 1/3. The other number that jumps out, 0.87 batting average against. He's not allowed a hit in 26 of the 33 games he's appeared in.
Talking about a dominant opponent batting average.
Yeah.
Nolan's faced him one time. He has a hit against him. He takes that fastball up high, ball 1.
Fastball sliders to the right-hander from Bearclaw. Fastball. Roughly 58% of the time the slider, about 40%. We'll mix in a change, but if I'm at the plate, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking fastball slider.
Ball and 2 strikes. Nolan 0 for 3. Makes the catch. And one of the deepest portions of the ballpark, a long out.
Nolan came within an eyelash of hitting this one out. So hanger on the Subaru Supermo, and then just watching Cameron Maben. You know, he started to come in a little bit, but that ball kept going, and Nolan's a little angry with himself, but that's how close he came to hitting that one out and extending that home run streak to 5 games.
Carr goes 1 for 3. Singled and scored in the 4th. He takes strike 1. Strikeout and comebacker as well. Outside. Here's tomorrow's matchup on the mound. The Rockies will see another left-hander. Caleb Smith will go for Miami, and Herman Marquez will go for the Rockies.
Smith leads all MLB rookies in strikeouts. He's 87. The final game of a 10-day, 9-game road trip for the Marlins.
That's the second out. Story will try to keep the game going for the Rockies. He doubled in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 3. Marlins, when they conclude this series in Colorado, will have played more than 55% of their road schedule already.
Well, they've had already 3 10-day road trips. Reminds me a few years ago when the Rockies, remember we had 5?
Was it 5?
I think it was 5. Back to back to back to back.
Longest I've ever seen, 2002. The Rockies had a 15-day road trip. They played in 4 cities, actually 5, because back then the Hall of Fame game still took place.
Oh, yeah.
And the Rockies, in the middle of that road trip,
they had to go to
2 on
Cooperstown?
Story, went to Cooperstown. They flew into Oneonta, New York, played a game, and got in there in the middle of the night, played a game the next day. The old Hall of Fame game. Had to be in July. Remember, it was scorching hot in the Catskills, and then went on and played another week of road games. 1 and 2. Bounces up there. The Marlins continue to give the Rockies fits. You know, this team is in full rebuild mode. Over the last 24 games, the Rockies are just 8-16 against Miami. And they're facing a 4-run deficit here with 2 outs in the 9th. Two.
We know about the troubles down in Miami, but also here at Coors Field they have a winning record since then against the Rockies.
Arizona shutting out Pittsburgh 5-0. They're in a rain delay in Pittsburgh.
They played 12 or 13 last night.
And Arizona won.
Starling Marte was a hero in that game.
Giants lead the Padres in the 7th, 3-1 in San Francisco. Dodgers play tonight in New York against the Mets. And
That's gonna,
yeah, it's Kershaw and DeGrom. How good's that one?
Yeah, Kershaw coming off the DL to make his first start.
He was supposed to pitch in a AAA game, and they just banged that idea. And they said, you know what? Just come on back and pitch in the big league game. I'm sure he'll be limited pitch count wise. 2-2. And sound full now on Trevor.
Bellinger had a grand slam last night in the game for the Dodgers.
center field. Cruising over is Brinson, and the Marlins have won on this Saturday afternoon 6-2 to snap the Rockies' 4-game winning streak. They'll play the rubber game tomorrow, a chance for the Rockies not only to take 2 out of 3 from Miami, but to finish this homestand at 5-2. But today a disappointing day as the Rockies fall 6-2. They fall a game under 500 to 38-39. The Marlins, with their 30th victory of the year, they're 30-47. Trevor Richards gets the win. Tyler Anderson takes the loss. We go to center field. Here's Jenny.
All right, Drew, thanks so much. One more opportunity before the Marlins leave tomorrow for the Rockies to get a series victory. Coming up, we'll talk about this loss and how good Richards was on the mound. We'll be right back.